Did you know that sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come in the form of a pill or a complicated treatment, but from something as simple as the foods we eat every day? I want you to imagine your body as a vast network of highways. Every single vein, artery, and capillary is a pathway carrying life, oxygen, nutrients, and energy to every organ, every tissue, every cell. Now imagine if those highways became narrow, rigid, or clogged. Traffic slows, accidents happen, and soon enough the entire system begins to suffer. But what if I told you there's one simple natural food, something you can pick up at your local market that has the remarkable ability to relax and open those highways, allowing life itself to flow freely once again? That food is beetroot. At first glance, beetroot may seem ordinary, maybe even overlooked, but hidden inside its deep red flesh is an extraordinary set of compounds that work in harmony with your body. The most important of these are natural nitrates. When you consume beetroot, these nitrates are transformed into nitric oxide, a gas molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. This process is called vasodilation. Think of it like opening up all the lanes on a congested highway. Blood flows more smoothly, oxygen delivery increases, and suddenly, your body begins to function at a higher level of efficiency. This isn't just a theory. Over the last decade, numerous studies have shown that beetroot juice and whole beets can significantly lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and even enhance exercise performance. In fact, athletes have turned to beetroot for an extra edge, because with improved circulation comes improved stamina and endurance. But here's the important point. It's not just for athletes, it's for you, for me, for anyone who wants to keep their vascular system healthy and vibrant as they age. When we look at cardiovascular disease, one of the leading causes of death worldwide, a common thread emerges: stiff blood vessels, high blood pressure, reduced circulation. Beetroot directly addresses these issues at their root. By improving nitric oxide availability, it restores flexibility to your arteries and veins. That flexibility matters because rigid vessels are prone to damage, inflammation, and blockage, which eventually lead to heart attacks and strokes. By incorporating beetroot into your routine, you are literally giving your blood vessels the gift of youthfulness and resilience. But the story doesn't stop there. Beetroot is also rich in antioxidants like betalains, which help reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, two silent processes that silently erode vascular health over time. These compounds protect the lining of your blood vessels, keeping them smooth and functional. They prevent the kind of wear and tear that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. In essence, beetroot is not only opening your veins but also maintaining them, protecting them, and nourishing them. I want you to pause and think about this. Something so simple, something nature has provided in abundance, can have such profound effects on your health, and yet many of us walk past it in the grocery store, not realizing the treasure sitting right there in the produce section. It's not glamorous, it's not exotic, but it's powerful. So when we talk about unveiling the power of one natural food, we're really talking about rediscovering the connection between what we eat and how our body functions at its most fundamental level. Your veins, your arteries, your circulation, all of it depends on daily choices, and one of those choices could be as simple as adding beetroot to your meals. It's an invitation to take control of your health, to support your vascular system naturally, and to experience the difference that comes when life flows freely through every vein in your body. When we begin to understand why beetroot has such profound effects on the human body, it's not about magic, it's about biochemistry. Inside this humble root, nature has packaged compounds that interact directly with some of the most vital systems keeping us alive. One of the most important players here is nitrate. When you eat beetroot, those naturally occurring nitrates don't just sit there, they go through a fascinating transformation. Bacteria in your mouth convert nitrates into nitrates, and once those nitrates enter your stomach and bloodstream, they are further converted into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule, and in the context of circulation, it is one of the body's most powerful tools. It relaxes the smooth muscle lining of your blood vessels, allowing them to dilate. This dilation reduces resistance, lowers blood pressure, and increases the delivery of oxygen and nutrients throughout your entire body. What's remarkable is how quickly this happens. Studies have shown that within just a couple of hours of consuming beetroot juice, blood pressure can drop significantly. That's the direct effect of nitric oxide at work. But the impact isn't just about lowering blood pressure, it's about improving efficiency. When your vessels are open and flexible, the heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood. The result is less strain on your cardiovascular system, more consistent energy levels, and improved endurance in both physical and cognitive performance. But nitrates aren't the only secret inside beets. The deep crimson color of beetroot comes from pigments called betalains. These are potent antioxidants, and their role is just as crucial. Every day your blood vessels are exposed to oxidative stress, essentially, damage caused by unstable molecules known as free radicals. Over time, oxidative stress weakens the endothelium, the delicate lining of your blood vessels. When that lining is damaged, it becomes easier for cholesterol and fats to stick, eventually forming plaques that clog arteries. Betalains step in like guardians, neutralizing those free radicals before they cause lasting harm. In doing so, they preserve the health of your endothelium and keep blood flowing smoothly. Then there are the flavonoids. These plant-based compounds, also abundant in beetroot, further support vascular health by enhancing nitric oxide activity and reducing inflammation. Think of them as amplifiers, where nitrates initiate the process of vessel relaxation. Flavonoids stabilize and extend the effect. They help protect nitric oxide from breaking down too quickly, which means you get a longer-lasting benefit from each serving of beetroot. This is why consistent consumption matters. A single serving can make a difference for a day, but regular inclusion in your diet creates a steady environment where your vessels remain flexible and open. Together, nitrates, betalains, and flavonoids form a triad of protection and optimization. They don't just open your veins temporarily, they create conditions that help prevent the chronic narrowing and hardening of arteries that underlie so many modern health problems. This combination lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, reduces inflammation, and strengthens the very walls of your blood vessels. It's a multi-layered defense system built directly into a food that has been part of human diets for centuries. The scientific reality is simple but profound. By eating beetroot, you're not only consuming calories or vitamins, you're activating biochemical pathways that determine how efficiently your body moves blood, how much oxygen reaches your muscles and brain, and how well your cardiovascular system ages over time. The real effect isn't just in the moment you drink a glass of beet juice, it's in the cumulative protection and performance your body gains with every dose of these compounds. This is how one natural food can open your veins, improve your circulation, and support your life at its very core. When we think about beetroot, it's easy to focus only on circulation and blood flow, but the reality is that its impact extends far beyond the vascular system. This food works on multiple levels of human health, and when you step back to see the bigger picture, you realize it is influencing the very systems that determine our longevity and quality of life. Take heart health, for example. The number one risk factor for heart disease is high blood pressure, and as we've discussed, beetroot directly lowers blood pressure by increasing nitric oxide availability, but lowering blood pressure is only the beginning. Improved circulation means the heart itself gets more oxygen with less strain. Over time, this can reduce the likelihood of left ventricular hypertrophy, a condition where the heart muscle thickens due to chronic high pressure. By easing the workload of the heart, beetroot acts as a quiet protector against one of the most widespread health issues of our time. Energy is another area where beetroot shines. Have you ever noticed how fatigue often creeps in during the middle of the day? A big reason for that is inefficient oxygen delivery. If your tissues aren't getting enough oxygen, energy production inside your mitochondria slows down, and you feel tired, beetroot enhances oxygen delivery to muscles, but it also improves how efficiently those muscles use oxygen. This is why athletes have embraced beet juice before endurance events. It increases time to exhaustion and reduces the oxygen cost of exercise. But it's not just about marathons or cycling. For the average person, it means having more energy to walk up the stairs, to play with your grandchildren, or to simply move through the day with less fatigue. That's a very practical and life-changing benefit. Now let's look at cognition. The brain is one of the most oxygen-hungry organs in the body. Even a small reduction in blood flow to the brain can impair concentration, memory, and alertness. Studies show that beetroot improves blood flow to regions of the brain associated with executive function and memory. This has huge implications, especially as we age. One of the hallmarks of cognitive decline is reduced cerebral blood flow. By improving brain circulation, beetroot may help preserve clarity of thought, slow down age-related decline, and support mental sharpness well into later years. In other words, this isn't just about living longer, but living sharper. Inflammation is another silent enemy. It's at the root of almost every chronic disease: diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, heart disease. Beetroot's betalains and polyphenols exert anti-inflammatory effects that can dampen this silent fire. They modulate inflammatory pathways, reduce oxidative stress, and lower markers of systemic inflammation. This is critical because inflammation is often the hidden driver behind vascular stiffness and metabolic dysfunction. By calming inflammation, beetroot not only protects your vessels but also supports overall resilience in your body. And finally, consider the ripple effect of all these benefits combined. Lower blood pressure, stronger heart function, better energy, sharper cognition, reduced inflammation. They don't just add years to your life, they add life to your years. Imagine being able to wake up in your 70s or 80s and still have the clarity to think, the energy to move, and the resilience to fight off disease. That's not a luxury, that's the possibility that nature offers when we consistently make choices that align with our biology. Beetroot is one of those choices. A food that looks simple on the outside but works on multiple levels inside your body to keep you vibrant, capable, and resilient. That's what it means to talk about holistic health benefits beyond vascular flow. One of the most important questions people often ask after learning about the science of a food like beetroot is, how do I actually use this in my daily life? And that's the right question to ask, because the real power of nutrition comes not from what we know, but from what we consistently put into practice. Fortunately, beetroot is one of the most versatile foods you can add to your diet, and you don't need complicated recipes or supplements to benefit from it. The goal is consistency, small but steady habits that integrate seamlessly into your daily routine. One of the simplest ways to start is with beetroot juice. Research has often used juice because it delivers a concentrated dose of nitrates in an easily absorbable form. Drinking a small glass of beet juice in the morning or even 2 hours before physical activity has been shown to improve blood pressure and boost endurance. If the taste feels too earthy or strong at first, blending it with carrot, apple, or a squeeze of lemon can balance the flavor without reducing its benefits. The key here is not to overthink it. Just a modest glass a few times a week can make a noticeable difference. For those who prefer whole foods, roasted or steamed beets are another excellent option. Roasting brings out their natural sweetness, making them easy to add as a side dish to dinner or toss into salads. You can dice them, sprinkle a little olive oil, and roast them until tender. Pairing them with leafy greens like arugula or spinach not only enhances flavor but also synergizes the nitrate effect. Because leafy greens contain similar compounds, that means you're giving your body a double dose of vascular support in a single meal. Smoothies are another practical way to integrate beets without much effort. A half-cooked or raw beet blended with berries, banana, and yogurt creates a nutrient-rich drink that feels more like a treat than a health food. This approach is especially helpful if you have children or family members who might be hesitant about the taste of beets on their own. When combined with naturally sweet fruits, the earthy flavor fades into the background while the benefits remain intact. Even in cooked meals, beets can be surprisingly flexible. You can grate them raw into coleslaw, Slice them thin into wraps or sandwiches, or stir them into soups and stews. In some cultures, beet soup, like borscht, has been a traditional dish for centuries, not only for its taste, but also for the sense of vitality it provides. By drawing from these traditions, you can add variety to your meals, while still aligning with the goal of better circulation and health. For people who are very busy, even powdered beet supplements can offer a convenient solution. While whole food is always best because of the fiber and full nutrient profile, high-quality powders retain much of the nitrate content and can be easily stirred into water or smoothies. The point isn't perfection, it's practicality. If powdered beets help you stay consistent, then they can play a role in your overall approach. The last piece is timing. Because nitrate levels peak a few hours after consumption, having beetroot or beet juice in the morning, or a couple of hours before exercise, is particularly effective. Think of it as giving your body a natural boost at the times when circulation and oxygen delivery matter most. The real message is that adding beetroot doesn't have to be complicated. It's about weaving it into what you already do, whether that's a morning smoothie, a lunchtime salad, or a simple side dish at dinner. By making it easy, you make it sustainable, and by making it sustainable, you unlock the long-term benefits that come not from one serving, but from a pattern of care, repeated day after day. That is how you maximize the impact of this simple yet powerful food. When we talk about the health benefits of beetroot, it's important to remember that this isn't just folk wisdom or anecdotal tradition. The claims about circulation, blood pressure, energy, and brain function have been examined under the lens of science. Over the past decade, researchers around the world have put beetroot to the test, and what they've found has been remarkably consistent. This is a food that is not only rich in nutrients but one that directly activates pathways in human physiology that can be measured, replicated, and verified. Let's start with blood pressure. A study published in the journal Hypertension looked at the effects of beetroot juice on individuals with elevated blood pressure. Within hours of consuming beet juice, researchers documented a measurable reduction in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. What makes this compelling is that the effect wasn't limited to a laboratory. It's been replicated in real-world settings, showing that the nitric oxide pathway triggered by dietary nitrates is both reliable and powerful. Another paper in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition echoed these results, finding that daily consumption of beetroot juice not only lowered blood pressure but sustained those improvements over time. Exercise performance is another area where research has confirmed beetroot's value. In a controlled trial published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, athletes who consumed beet juice were able to exercise longer before reaching exhaustion, and they did so with less oxygen demand. That's extraordinary because it means the body became more efficient at using oxygen, a fundamental limitation in both sports and everyday life. What's even more encouraging is that subsequent studies showed similar benefits for older adults, suggesting that beetroot can improve endurance across the lifespan, not just in young athletes. Cognition has also come under the spotlight. A study out of Wake Forest University demonstrated that older adults who drank beetroot juice experienced increased blood flow to the frontal lobes of the brain, regions critical for decision-making and memory. Brain imaging confirmed these changes. This wasn't speculation, it was direct evidence that the nitrates in beetroot improved cerebral perfusion. Given that reduced blood flow to the brain is linked with cognitive decline, this line of research suggests beetroot could play a role in maintaining mental sharpness as we age. Inflammation and oxidative stress are harder to see in the same way we measure blood pressure or brain perfusion, but here too, studies back up beetroot's benefits. Betalains, the pigments responsible for its deep red color, have been shown in laboratory and human studies to reduce markers of oxidative damage and inflammation. A review published in Nutrients highlighted that these compounds help protect endothelial cells, the thin lining of blood vessels, from damage, which is critical in preventing atherosclerosis. What ties all of this together is the harmony between traditional use and modern science. Cultures have consumed beetroot for centuries, often noting its energizing or restorative properties. Today, research gives us the language to explain why those observations were true. Nitric oxide signaling, antioxidant defense, anti-inflammatory effects, these are the mechanisms that bridge the wisdom of nature with the rigor of evidence. So when we say beetroot is backed by research, we mean that it's more than just a hopeful claim. It's a food that has been studied, validated, and repeatedly shown to impact human health in measurable, meaningful ways. And yet it remains grounded in nature, accessible, affordable, and available to all of us. When we bring all of this together, the message is actually very simple. We spend so much of our lives searching for complicated answers to health, new supplements, expensive treatments, advanced technologies, but sometimes the answer is already here, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to recognize it. Beetroot is not just a vegetable, it's a reminder. A reminder that nature often provides solutions that align beautifully with how our bodies are designed to function. By opening our blood vessels, by nourishing our heart, our brain, our muscles, it gives us back something we often lose as we age: flow, energy, clarity, resilience. Think about what this really means. Every time you choose to include a glass of beet juice, a roasted beet salad, or a simple smoothie, you are casting a vote for your future self. You're not just eating food, you're building a body that is stronger, more vibrant, and better able to carry you through the years ahead. And this is not just about preventing disease, it's about optimizing life. It's about being able to take that walk without feeling winded, to think clearly during the afternoon instead of feeling foggy, to keep your heart working efficiently so you can enjoy more time with the people you love. That's the lasting impact of a simple choice repeated over time. But here's the bigger picture. Health is not something that exists only within us as individuals, it ripples outward. When you take better care of yourself, you become a source of strength for your family, your community, your workplace. When you share knowledge, when you tell someone that a natural food like beetroot can truly change the way their body functions, you're not just helping them, you're contributing to a culture that values prevention, vitality, and wellness. Imagine what happens if more people start to open their eyes to these truths. Fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, less suffering from preventable illness, more energy, more productivity, more joy in everyday life. That's the collective impact of individual action. It's easy to underestimate small decisions. One serving of beets doesn't feel like much, one day of choosing health doesn't feel like it changes the world. But over weeks, months, and years, those small acts accumulate into something extraordinary. They shape your biology, they shape your habits, and they shape your future. This is the essence of preventive health. It's not about waiting for something to go wrong, it's about actively creating the conditions for things to go right. So I want to leave you with this challenge. Don't let this just be information, let it be transformation. Try it. Add beetroot into your diet in whatever way feels natural and sustainable for you. Notice the difference in your energy, your clarity, your endurance, and then share that experience with someone else. Teach them what you've learned, because knowledge that is shared becomes knowledge that multiplies, and when it comes to health, that multiplication can change lives. The truth is, we can't control everything about aging or disease, but we can control the daily choices we make. And sometimes, those choices are as simple as adding a root vegetable to our plate. It may not seem dramatic, but when you look back years from now, you may realize that it was one of the most impactful decisions you ever made. That's the power of nature, that's the power of consistency, and that's the invitation beetroot is offering you today, to embrace it, to enhance your life, and to be part of a ripple effect that supports the well-being of us all.